Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rossi Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like on this video, it helps the video do better and I appreciate that. If you notice like paint and shit on my skin, it's because I have been painting. Sherlock Holmes right there. So two games to talk about. It's the Kings-Warriors game and then the fantastic Lakers versus Grizzlies game. Because that game was so good and I have so many things to say about it, I'm going to put that on the back burner and just quickly skim through Warriors-Kings because there's not too much to say about it. The Warriors won this game in spite of the fact that they didn't shoot particularly well. Curry shot 40% from the field and 27% from three, and the team overall shot 35% from three, and there was long stretches of the game where nobody was really hitting their shots. But what was different and what helped the Warriors and was their saving grace in this game was that they did not turn the ball over. The Clippers game that they played the other day, they turned the ball over like 20-something times, and it was really the turnovers were the only thing that was like a big detriment to their offense. This time around, they finished with 6 turnovers in total, which is phenomenal. So the taking care of the ball, their defense was good. Draymond Green brought 14 points in, which for Draymond, like 14 for Draymond is like 30 for other players. So that was huge. He hit a 3-pointer. That was nice. And Jordan Poole had a good game. Wiggins was all right, although he missed a wide open fucking layup, but is what it is. Also, Gary Payton II had some moments in this game. He caught an alley-oop from Steph, hit a big 3-pointer. Some good stuff from the bench unit. Outside of Nemanja Bjelica, who had a great first game and a solid second one. Not good in this game, but moving on. Sacramento Kings side of things, they actually played a really fucking good game, and the two standouts are Harrison Barnes and Davion Mitchell. There was a weird amount of hype for Davion going into this game versus Steph, specifically just because Davion has his reputation as a defensive player. His nickname is Off Night. He's definitely a very good defender, and he had his moments on Steph. He had moments where he got burned, had moments where he played good defense on him. I mean, I think that's to be expected. Steph is too good for him to lock him down, but he also had great moments, which as a rookie, like making Steph struggle offensively at any rate is an impressive feat for any type of NBA player, let alone somebody just getting in the league. But the thing is that not only defensively did he stand out, but offensively in the first half he had like 17 points. He finished with 22 as he cooled down in the second half, but pull-up 3-pointers. There was a catch-and-shoot 3 in the second half. The first 2 of the 3 that he made were pull-ups in the second quarter, I believe. A couple of nice drives. He had one really nice dish to Tristan Thompson. He was also attacking the zone that the Warriors were running in the second quarter, which was very good to see. So just great stuff from Davion Mitchell in this one. And then Harrison Barnes, 24 points in this one, 5 for 10 from outside. He averages 28 points per game and 10 rebounds as well right now through 3 games for the Kings. That's pretty fucking good. I mean, they're 1-2 with that, but, you know, 28 points a game from Harrison Barnes is pretty cool. Now, De'Aaron Fox didn't really do that much this game. He was pretty timid, and there was actually moments in the fourth quarter when the game was still relatively close where De'Aaron was off of the floor and they favored Davion. But overall, I would say that the Kings played a good game. They also did a lot of 3-guard lineup stuff that was interesting, and even though they obviously lost to the Warriors, they made it a battle for a long period of time when the Kings are definitely not on a similar tier to the Warriors, so admirable in that sense. But moving on to this Lakers-Grizzlies game, because this was easily the most entertaining game of the day that I watched. I also watched the Hornets-Nets game. You can watch my commentary on that in those previous video. But this time around, a 3-point win, or 3-point game, and a win by the Lakers. Wait, what does it say? It's a 3-point game. I left when there was a 0.3 seconds on the clock. Did somebody get fouled? I'm confused. Because it was Ja Morant missing the free throw. And then what the hell happened? And that was a 1-point game. What the hell happened after that? Anthony Davis shot free throws after that? Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense because he missed the free throw and then, okay, never mind. Forget what I was saying. The 3-point game in favor of the Lakers. Ja Morant, on the Grizzlies side of things, 40 points and 10 assists. However, the thing that, of course, is going to stand out from Ja's performance, unfortunately and unfairly, is the fact that he missed the free throw that would have sent the game into overtime. Got fouled on a three-pointer late, which he had to take a difficult three because the Lakers had been fouling up three, which I kind of hate jumping all the way to that, but fouling up three is the right decision. It's the smart basketball play. I think we'd all agree that it makes sense to just take the foul, assuming that you have somebody that you know will hit their free throws, which in this case for the Lakers, they went to Malik Monk for the late game free throws, or they at least did for two of them. But it's not particularly fun. It's not the most interesting way of playing the game, and it's not entertaining. It's a weird thing because like this is not a thing where it's like, oh yeah, this is just simply not fun. So I'm not gonna say it's outright should be like against the rules just because it's not fun, but it's not fun. Anyways, outside of that, once again, this is another case of the Grizzlies having a pretty even shot distribution after Ja. Steven Adams, 14 points. Desmond Bane, 17 points. Desmond was really good on this one. Melton with 13. Jaren Jackson with 12. He got fucking swatted, and he actually overall had a poor performance, I would say. But, relatively good game for the Grizzlies. It was really the Ja Morant show, though. So many fucking highlight plays. There were 3 or 4 different plays. I think it was 4 different plays. 2 of them were passes and 2 of them were crazy-ass layups that made me scream like out loud. There are no people in my house. This is not, so there's no person to like hear me scream, so I guess I'm more willing to do it than I did before. But literally I was screaming at the fucking highlights that this guy was having. There were so many insanely athletic and impressive plays he had. 2 different passes that were like through heavy traffic after jumping in the air and just dump offs. One of them was like right at the start of the game, I think for the 4th and 5th point of the game, where he did a spin move like he was going for a fadeaway. Both defenders jumped and he just whipped it around to Steven Adams, who put it right up at the rim. But crazy game from Ja. And another thing that stood out was the 3-point shooting. He goes 5 for 7 from 3 in this one. He, I believe, shot relatively well from 3 in his other 2 games. I know he didn't in the one game that I watched the other day, and the team that they played against escapes me right now for some reason. But the free throws were dropping outside of the one because he shot 9 for 11, and the threes were dropping. So 5 for 7, that's fucking impressive. And he took a couple off of the dribble, and he took one from real deep over DeAndre Jordan because DeAndre got caught in an island versus him, and he pulled it from out there. But as I mentioned, Ja was hitting his threes, and overall just a fantastic fucking highlight-filled performance from him. Even if you did not watch this game, I would highly recommend you watch the highlights after, because unbelievable game from him. And thus far through 3 games, he's averaging 33 and like 9 so far this year. I really think this is Ja Morant's breakout year. Obviously, I don't expect him to maintain those averages for the full year, but it's something to look out for. But on the Lakers side of things, this is a particularly interesting game from them. Of course, a lot of people watching to see if they can get a fucking win. And what do you know? They actually did it. They won this game by 3 points, as I mentioned earlier. And it was pretty much an even affair. Anthony Davis had an all right game. Russell Westbrook had an all right game. LeBron James had an all right game. Carmelo Anthony had an unbelievable game. Kent Bazemore, Malik Monk both had pretty good games. Dwight Howard had like 2 buckets that both were like impressive to me for what Dwight Howard is capable of. But overall, this was a team effort, and this game is just fantastic, especially with the Lakers crowd. There were so many moments where the Lakers were hitting 3-pointers, and every 3 felt like it fucking brought the house down. The team overall shot 16 for 30 from 3, which is 53%. Fantastic for them to have a shooting night like that. Russell Westbrook took 4 3-pointers. That wasn't fucking necessary. He hit one of them, but that's stupid. Of course, Russ is the main guy to look out for with the Lakers right now, because he's a new guy in the equation, and he's Russell Westbrook, and opinions on him are incredibly volatile. But this game was weird because he did shoot 5 for 15, But I'd say he had a good game because he really wasn't looking for his shot too much. There were a handful of shots that he took that were like, why did you take that? But it didn't feel as prevalent as it had in other games previous. The thing with Russ is that if he literally just cut out the bad jump shot that he takes, and I don't mean the jump shots in general, because you can make the argument every jump shot Russell Westbrook takes is a bad jump shot, but you know, the numbers when he's actually open are not god-awful, non-existent bad. Like, they're respectable enough. Like, he has decent enough catch and shoot numbers, decent enough corner three-point shooting numbers, but he takes bad shots, like contested shots, when he's not even good at open shots. For example, there was a mid-range shot that Russell Westbrook took in this game, and it was wide open, and it dropped in. The next possession on a fast break, he tries to take a banking mid-range shot. It's like, why the fuck? Why would you take that shot? You shouldn't be taking that shot. You're not good at it. But overall, while he did have some of those boneheaded moments, as they tend to come with Russell Westbrook, he also had 13 assists. Now, he also had 9 turnovers. I didn't actually realize he had that many fucking turnovers. But relative to what we'd been seeing from Russ, this is definitely an upturn. And it was back and forth, but there were a lot of good moments. I didn't realize he had 9 fucking turnovers. That recontextualizes my argument a little bit. Because, yeah, that's just not ideal for him to have those turnovers. Anyways, outside of that, as I mentioned, Carmelo Anthony went the fuck off. What was interesting in terms of the momentum of this game is there were lineups where, especially early on in this game, the Grizzlies got to like a 17-8 start or whatever, and the Lakers proceeded to take DeAndre and Westbrook off of the floor. DeAndre shouldn't be on the floor, period. DeAndre Jordan is not an NBA caliber player at this point, should not be in the rotation, period. He's a good third string center. Shouldn't be fucking playing, let alone starting. But my point I was trying to get to, they take them off of the floor. Suddenly the Lakers go on a run. And immediately I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to be the Lakers are actually better with Russ off of the floor. But what's interesting is very soon after they went on that run, like they started to go on it, they subbed Russ back into the game. And with more spacing out there, no DJ still on the bench, luckily, they continued the momentum of their run to close out the first quarter, where Carmelo hit a really big three at the top of the key at the end of the game, or at the end of the quarter. But they continued the momentum with Russ. And then something similar to this happened in the second half, where the Grizzlies started to get more into the game early third quarter and close the gap that the Lakers had created in the first half. And then they took Russ off of the floor. The Lakers got a little bit of momentum. And then they put him back in like a minute and a half later, and then they carried the momentum. It was very weird. It was almost like they had to take Russ off of the floor to reset it. But then once it was reset, inserting him back in was fine. I feel like I'm hyper fixating on that more so than I should, but that's just kind of how I am with watching basketball. So that's why half of the time with these fucking post-game recaps, it's me talking about the most minute details. But yeah, that was just something I noticed. Late game, what was interesting that the Lakers were doing is they ran a lot of plays with Russell Westbrook as the screener, both in a straight-up pick and roll and also doing off-ball stuff, screening for Anthony Davis. It had mixed results, but there was enough there that it was like, that's something that could be built upon. The first time they did it, it had fantastic results. Russ was the screener to LeBron, immediately cut. LeBron made a great pass, and then going to the rim, Steven Adams brings help. Russ jumps, wraps it around to Anthony Davis for the dunk, or it might have been a layup, but great fucking play right there. Other plays, he was doing more stuff that didn't result in like direct action, but there was good stuff there. There was also a similar play where he once again was the roll man, caught it, and threw it to a cutting AD, and then AD just completely fumbled the pass. In fact, I'm sure that was one of Russ's turnovers. That one wasn't Westbrook's fault. AD should have caught that ball. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, something to make note of. In terms of the end of the game drama, I mentioned the fouling up three stuff. There was the AD call that had to get reversed by, I believe, a coach's challenge, which was nice. I don't know if there was actually a coach's challenge because the audio was like, I was barely paying attention to the audio, but got reversed because Steven Adams didn't fucking touch AD after he intercepted the ball on the inbound and fell down, and they were like, oh, that's a foul, but it's like, no, he didn't touch him. He just fell with somebody near him. Other than that, I don't think there was too many. There was an out of bounds call that went, I believe, in Memphis's favor. I can't remember actually, but I don't know. I feel like overall, you know, there's not too much to say about this game, as exciting as it was. Just really fucking sucks that Ja hit or missed that free throw, because it really felt like we were gonna get like an OT thriller. Ultimately, still a great game, and a fucking clusterfuck of a game at some points, but definitely interesting. I think a positive turn for the Lakers. One last note I want to make. LeBron James 4 for 9 from 3 this game. He has shot 10 threes a game over the first 2 games of the season. Now the 9 threes on top of that. So if we go and look at, I'm looking at his stat. I'm trying to pull up his stats right now. Fuck off. I already have League Pass. Why are you advertising it to me? No, it only has the 2 games logged in. Okay, so never mind. We'll get to that eventually. We'll get those numbers eventually. But I made the take that it's not really that hot of a take, but I have to take the being right where I can. I said LeBron was going to average the most 3-point attempts per game for his career with Russ as his sidekick now, and 29 3-point attempts over 3 games. Looking like that was that was a right take. But yeah. That's my thoughts on this game. Hell of a fucking game. If you didn't watch it, I would recommend trying to find somewhere to watch it if you can. But great game. I feel like I've said that a bunch of times now, but genuinely, it was a very good game. It's probably the best game that I've watched so far this year. But yeah, that is it. Goodbye.